Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, G, the big man, the champ, the originator, the creator, the Mike Thrillin', the D squad killing, the one of a kind, the mastermind. The champ is right back where he's supposed to be, and I'm here to talk about all things wrestling. So let's get into it, all right? Let's go.
Am I going to be on the screen at all, or?
Do you want me to put you on the screen?
Yeah, this is my show too, Garrett.
Okay, whatever you say. All right, there's the guy who used to be the champ over there. Is it Joe? I mean, that's what it says on the screen. I thought it was like something like Peter or Richard or Harry or something like that. I don't know. It's fine. Well, you know what? Let's go. Let's get into the wrestling news. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's lots to talk about.
All right. So, let's see here. I'm going to start off with Immortal Things 2, which I went to, and Joe didn't because he was home, as you can see, still kind of beat up. But, you know, I guess that's what happens around here, you know. So yeah.
What happened on Immortal Things 2?
Well, Immortal Things 2 was fantastic. It was the go-home show for the year. If anyone knows Immortal, if they've been sticking with us at all, they know that Mr. Mike King does not run in December or January for, holiday reasons, because he runs later in the month. So for holiday reasons, then weather reasons in January, it's just easier if he just takes off the 2 months.
Cool.
So gonna start back up in February. This was in the big go home show. Vicky Guerrero was there.
Oh wow.
She showed up, put Mr. Man in his place, and then even at one point put Mike King in his place. 'Cause that's what happens when you hire a GM to come on.
Right.
Things got crazy. She had to put the foot down, but she was amazing to work with. It was just great. All the show was, just fantastic. Obviously, if anyone knows, especially with travel times, with everything, especially, on an independent circuit, the card is always subject to change. So there was a few things that went around. The show was actually then opened by Chris Worthless and the hot stepper McCray Martin. Great match. I mean, and they found out they were wrestling 10 minutes before the curtain opened.
Holy crap.
And they put on a great match. They were good. It was awesome. Let's see. What else happened that night? So Facade versus Jora Joel was just, I mean, those two could have wrestled forever. I think that a Fight Forever chant may have broken out. Like they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, was it Christina Marie was supposed to take on Megan Bain to try and get the belt back,
right?
But because of travel, Megan Bain was not present at the show. So
she wussed out, is what you're saying.
I'm reluctant, even as the champ, to say that about anyone in that stable. I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that stable, as we know, with words I had with Matchstick Haram.
Yeah, we know. So
when I'm better, I'll have to handle that business too.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that happens. But anyway, so Danny Moe, who was supposed to wrestle Valerie Verman, who was also late but still showed up and wrestled. Danny Moe wrestled Christina Marie. That match was just, I mean, what match of Christina Marie's isn't almost always the contender, if not the match of the night?
Yeah, she's amazing.
So, Danny Moe is incredible. The match was just, I'm always I know I always say the same things about all the matches. They're good, they're incredible, they're amazing. But I don't want to get into too much. And I mean, I want them to be able to, stream stuff out when they want to, or, do their DVD sales. I don't want to give away everything here, know. So, but then, like I said, Valerie ended up wrestling PJ the Whip.
Yeah.
Blaze retained against Nick Sullivan with help from GGP.
Of course.
And GGP retained against Sean Carr with help from Blaze.
Not surprising.
Axel Lennox, Danny Adam, and Matic took on Just Incredible, Dirty Dango, and the returning Sergeant Fury.
Wow.
Which was crazy. He didn't return with Ataxia, which
really
kind of blew my mind. You know, because he left on fantastic terms. He was like, "Guys, I got something I got to do at home. I got to do this." They're like, "All right, you do what you got to do."
So they're no longer aligned?
I don't know, and I'm reluctant to say anything about it because as we know, Tagsy's not afraid to just show up here and do something to me. So that was that. The night was fantastic. It's Immortal. They put on good shows. They're really good at what they do. So, come February, we're gonna have the big news. I'll be talking to Mike King, and we're gonna roll out all the announcements here. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll be working with them even closer than we do in the near future. But so Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I was at work. I only got to come home and see the end, and then I didn't quite go back. Yeah, obviously, I know all the stuff that
I watched the whole thing.
So why don't you bring us through that?
So it kicked off with Becky and Charlotte, I believe, was the first match, and as always, they put on a clinic. One of my favorite matches of the night, and it ended with Becky winning dirty. After Charlotte tried to use the ropes to help with the pin, ref saw it, Becky flips it, and then Becky does use the ropes to win.
Right.
So you have Becky retaining and still staying in heel form, and honestly, I'm kind of digging Big Time Bex.
Yeah.
I am digging the Big Time Bucks.
So did you like the Man better or Big Time?
So I like the Man better. Don't get me wrong. I like the Man better, but I am enjoying Big Time Bucks. Well,
and what I think is a smart thing on WWE is not coming back because she can refer to herself as the Man all she wants,
right?
But rolling with the shtick of the Man, changing. She did it at the perfect. She stopped it at the perfect time.
Well, yeah, she stopped the Man when she left.
You have to just watch Chris Jericho.
Right.
Okay, watch Chris Jericho's career. He's never outdone a gimmick.
Right.
Never once has he ever outdone a gimmick. He rides it to the exact perfect time and then changes it. And he's fantastic. And that was a good thing that they did with her.
It's very similar like Rollins. Rollins has reinvented himself over and over. And they might not necessarily be my favorite versions of Rollins, but like he's always interesting what he's doing. And I misspoke. The first match was Shinsky versus Damien Priest. With Rick Boogs doing Shinsky's theme song.
Right.
And so Shinsky retained the Intercontinental belt by disqualification because Damien Priest done lost his mind. And I'm digging Damien Priest a lot.
I like Damien Priest. I think he's good.
I feel like they've kind of... Shinsky got a little bit of a push there a while back, and they just... I feel like because his mic skills aren't there, he's kind of been...
That's why they paired him with Boogs to do like the showman stuff. Yes. I get that.
So then we had Team Raw versus Team SmackDown men's. So for Raw, you had Rollins, Baylor, Kevin Owens, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley. And they defeated Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Woods, Happy Corbin, and Sheamus. Now, the funny thing about this was the way they started the match off was Kevin Owens and Rollins started jawing to each other about who was going to go out first. So KO
Of course.
goes first and then immediately walks out of the ring and gets counted out and eliminated.
So you put him down one?
Put him down one to begin with. And I have to say this match was pretty awesome. Like, Austin Theory is really, really starting to grow on me.
Right. Like,
he's a phenomenal athlete. He's kind of annoying, but, like, he's really starting to grow on me. Any match Rollins does really is just great. And it was a good classic Survivor Series match. Like, it was good wrestling. There were good spots in it. And, like, I'm digging King Woods. I have to say.
Oh, I love
him as King Woods, and Rollins ends up pulling out the victory for Team Raw, and it was just a good match. I really enjoyed it. So they introduced. I don't know if you've seen the Red Notice, the new movie with The Rock.
I have not seen it yet.
I haven't watched it.
Full intentions on watching it.
But I guess like the whole thing behind it is they steal this golden egg.
Mm-hmm.
So Red Notice was one of the sponsors for the pay-per-view. So Mr. McMahon shows up in his limo with the supposed golden egg. Okay.
Of course.
And he brings it to his office and he's talking to anybody and everybody he can about how he's got The Rock gifted him this golden egg. Now, the whole entire pay-per-view where they're like, this is the 25th anniversary of the debut of The Rock.
Right.
So it's like, it gave you the feeling like The Rock was going to show up. And The Rock never showed up.
Right.
And it almost, so like at one point, Vince is telling Roman Reigns, like, oh, your cousin gave me this, blah, 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 blah. And Roman Reigns makes him a snide remark about The Rock when he leaves. So I'm like, oh, shit. Rock's going to show up and show the tribal chief who the real tribal chief is.
Right.
And so I think they're planting seeds for that, even though nothing happened. The next we had...
wait till Rumble then? I mean, obviously they're going to wait till the end of the Rumble,
thinking.
Right?
Well, they're doing New Year's Day. They're doing WWE Day 1 pay-per-view.
Okay.
Which... I'm assuming just because it's New Year's Day. I don't know if it'll start then.
Right.
I don't know. But then we had almost won The Rock's 25th anniversary 25-man dual-branded battle royale. It was your typical should have been on the pre-show battle royale. Like nothing. I don't know. They're pushing almost. So then you had the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is RK Bro, versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, which is the Usos. And RK Bro's on a roll. You can't, besides how Riddle came out last night, I know I sent you the picture of him trying to look like Randy with the mustache. I'm digging their chemistry. Like, Randy Orton's another one who has... for the last 25 years, sat there and redefined himself over and over.
He doesn't have bad matches.
He was the Young Buck. He's the Legend Killer. He's the Viper.
And now he's the old man.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting to be he's the veteran.
So then we had the women's Survivor Series match. We had Team Raw, which is Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina. They faced off against Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Toni Storm. Now, SmackDown went up very, very early, where there were 4 SmackDown wrestlers left versus the 1 Raw. So Bianca Belair was the last one left. And then the 4 left, I believe, were Sasha, Natalya, Shayna Baszler. I think it was the 4 of them left. And they just turn on Sasha. And they basically let her get eliminated. And then systematically, Bianca Belair goes through and does the underdog win, and Team SmackDown wins. Like it was. You saw it coming when Raw went up so early. Like, no, it was Bianca. Yeah, I read that right. And Bianca she's Bianca Belair. Like, they're starting to push her again, but I think they wanted to keep the belt on Bex, or give the belt back to Bex to show her dominance. And I really don't know. Like, it was a real quick match. Like, when it started off early, when everybody was still there, it was great. And then when Raw went down, Bianca just ripped everybody apart.
Right.
And then
you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt your flow. There was something I completely forgot, and I don't know how I could, because it was the match that ended the night. At Immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Ataxia decided to, they've been really going at it with the Stetsons.
Yeah.
And Garrett Holiday, came in, for the save at the last show. The destruction that happened at this place was pure insanity. Okay. Yeah. Beer bottles got broken over people. But people were just bleeding. I think Shane got put through a door.
Yikes.
Okay. There was bats and kendo sticks. There was just the carnage was insane. The cleanup afterwards was I'm glad it was last. I'm glad the match was last because the sheer carnage that happened was pure insanity. I don't want to give away an ending, but to see Ataxia, they came out in full force, all of them, and even HVO returned. Okay, yeah, High Voltage Omar was even back. Haven't seen him in a while, and even he came back, and it was, oh man, the insanity that ensued in that end of that match. We have pictures from it. Jason, who does photos for there, I shared his post on it, and he had a post alone of just that match. And so go on our Facebook, see the photos from the rest from the whole night. It was yeah, okay. So I forgot to talk about the pure insanity that was in that match. Now we can get back to Survivor Series. My bad.
So the match that ended Survivor Series was Roman Reigns versus Big E, champion versus champion match. And I have to say, I was very impressed with the match. I wasn't impressed with the ending, but I was very, very impressed with how Roman Reigns actually could keep up with somebody who's a very good wrestler like Big E. Like, it was a great ending. It was definitely a champion versus champion match. Roman Reigns got out a couple big endings. There was some reversals. It basically took 3 Superman punches to Big E to finally drop him. And this is after he took a couple spears and a couple Superman punches earlier on in the match.
Right. And
I do like the build-up to this match with Roman Reigns going after Xavier Woods on SmackDown. It's Big E putting out there still that he's still New Day. He's New Day till he dies, even though he's on the other brand.
Raw, yeah.
And I caught a little bit of Raw last night before my pain meds kicked in from my neck, and Seth Rollins was attacked by a fan last night,
which is insane. I can't believe people are still doing that.
I just want to put it out there in the world, like, as much as we all want to be a part of this, as much as we dispel our reality a little bit, like, these guys our performers. Like, they should never be assaulted by one of us. Like, we're there to see a show. You never have any kind of right to put your hand on one of the performers or to forcefully insert yourself into this. Like, it's not cool. Like, you ruin it for everybody else. And, like, somebody could truly get hurt. Like, they're already putting their body on the line doing what they're doing. And you don't want to see Seth end up like me. Like, it's not what you want. And this guy should go to jail. All the charges should be put on him, and he should be banned for life.
Oh, he's definitely going to be banned. I mean, yeah, I don't see how he's not going to have, the full extent of WWE,
right.
the law coming down on them, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's, I just don't even know what to.
It baffles me. Like, yeah, sure, we've all talked shit and we've all said, like, oh, I would have gone out there and I would have whooped his ass, blah, 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 but you don't do it. It's like these idiots at NFL games who jump the barricades and run on the field, and then when they get lit up, wonder why they get lit up on the field.
Yeah.
Like, you're there as an observer. You're not there as a participant. Like, what else you got for me? I'm in a lot of pain right now. I'm sorry.
You know what? I can't blame you. I can't blame you for being in a lot of pain. What happened to you last week was, other than necessary.
I can't, legally, I can't talk about what happened to me last week.
Really?
But, yeah, my lawyers are working on some things and new possible policies and stipulations. That's why you had to wait for me to come in the building. You're going to have to exit the building before me. We have to, like, I have my physical therapy. I've been participating in some Eastern philosophies to help possibly heal myself better.
Wow. Okay. So that's the next thing. How do you feel about Daniel Bryan going heel in just a random promo?
I kind of love it. Like, because even though he's gone, Bryan Danielson has gone heel before, everybody thinks of him as a face. Like, and I like the fact that he's trying to get away from that in AEW. Like, even though he came in as the face, screw it, go heel. Like, do what you want to do, play with it, have fun. And you and I both know heels have way more fun than faces.
Way more.
Like,
it's
easier.
It's easier to be heel.
It's easier to be bad than it is to be good. And if that's what he wants to do, do it, dude. Like,
he's good at it.
He is good at it. He's very good at it. And, like,
it's easy. I think it's easy for him because I don't know. It's like, just kind of got. Especially the way he does it.
Right.
Yeah. You bring a error of reality to something, and then you just drive it home. Like when he kept saying, Kofi Kingston was, a B grade wrestler and he doesn't deserve to be in the ring with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, you've been mid card. You're, most of your career, you don't belong in the ring with me. Like you have to take something that's real and squeeze it.
But and amp it up like that. Like,
and amp it.
One of my favorite promos ever was actually on Daniel Bryan, and it wasn't anything planned. It was remember when they briefly had that SmackDown Talking Smack, that show after SmackDown? And
with him and The Miz?
Yes.
That was the best promo in WWE in like a decade.
It's by far one of my favorites. Like the way, because The Miz at that point in time was extremely frustrated with a lack of push and a lack of respect he felt like he was getting in his company. And like people laugh at the Miz. People are like, oh, he's a dude from the real world, blah blah blah. Like people don't realize like how much this dude has put into it. He's helped keep that company going through some lower times, and like he's always been somebody who's been very entertaining.
Yeah.
And he's very consistent. And like he's a very safe wrestler. Like, he's never been hurt. He's never hurt anybody. And especially somebody who wasn't necessarily a wrestler to begin with. And that, like, the reality of it, like Daniel Bryan wanted to wrestle, but the WWE doctors told him no. And he left it at that. And the Miz was like, why didn't you get another opinion? Why didn't you push it? Why aren't you pushing it? Look, you're just here. You're a general manager. Like, and honestly, I think that promo itself is what made Daniel Bryan start pushing it to get cleared to wrestle again. Because I think that woke something up in him. And, like, actually last night when I was going to bed, I started rewatching the Rivalries thing on WWE Network, on Peacock. And the first one is actually broken into 2 episodes, and it's the Stone Cold Mr. McMahon rivalry. And like, and everybody forgets this, like, but when Vince was a kid, Vince was the one that rebelled against the norm. Vince was like, when everything, we have territories, we do this. Vince is like, I don't want that. I want a TV show, and I want to take whoever I want. Right. He's the one who put the middle finger up to the big bosses. And that's what resonated with him with Stone Cold's character. Like, and Stone Cold said to him, he's like, just because when Stone Cold created the Stone Cold character, the first couple of promos, he sees it on TV, and they cut a bunch of it. And Steve Austin said to Vince, he's like, like, book the matches how you want to book them or whatever. He's like, just don't cut my shit. He's like, because I'm a bald, middle-sized guy with a goatee wearing black trunks and black boots. If you take away my promos, you're taking away my character. And so they let him start doing it. And it was all, he came from a point of frustration in the business. Like, he'd been given all these different, like the Hollywood Blondes, the Ringmaster. He'd been given all these gimmicks that just weren't him, and he was pissed off. And you saw the seeds of that planted with his brief stint in ECW before he went to WWF. And Vince said, he's like, once I started listening, and once they had Austin came down for color commentary, because that's when this was at the very end when Vince was a commentator. And they started having words, like Austin was like, stop cutting me off, stop doing this. And something in that Vince saw of his younger self. And that's what helped create the Mr. McMahon character that he still does to this day, was he's like, you know what, I'm going to be those dickheads that I had to deal with when I was trying to get this company to that next level and let Austin roll with what Austin was. Right. And it just, besides, like, you have your gimmicks like Taker, like, and Kane, you have certain gimmicks that do work and do resonate. But, like, it might be from the time that we grew up watching wrestling, it's more those reality-based guys that resonate, that stick around once you let them be themselves. Like, look at Dwayne Johnson. He would never have been where he is today if they kept him with his original pre-Uso Rocky Maivia character. It's when they let him start being him, playing around with his own personality on that screen, is what resonated. Same with Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns, they tried pushing him for a decade, nothing. Then they let him start being the asshole that he is. Boom. Like, he's taking off. And it's something that Vince needs to, like, it's worked for him over and over again, but he still resists it. Right. Especially with certain people. And, like, I don't get it. Like, it's just, you have a gold mine, and, like, you're going to continue losing people. They did a bunch more cuts. Like, was it 2 weeks ago?
The cuts are insane.
And some of the people that they're letting go of is very high caliber talent. And you know what? Like, I appreciate the fact that he's cutting them to a certain extent because it gives them an ability to be showcased. It's not like, oh, I want this toy, but I'm putting it on the shelf and I'm not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, was it 89 wrestlers this year?
Yeah.
89 wrestlers just goes to show you that that's who was hoarded by WWE.
Right.
You know, and unfortunately there's like if he does that he kind of saturates the market, which I think could also be another ploy by him to be like, okay, you want to start taking wrestlers, here's literally everyone we're not using.
Right.
And then if they get too many, they're gonna to use the same term I've been using, they're gonna WCW themselves if they're not careful.
Well,
but I don't know still don't know what's going on with the Ring of Honor. Impact could take a decent amount of people and really try and pump their show back up, but like how many people can really go to AEW anymore?
Well, like, it's the more I was thinking about this, it doesn't just benefit those promotions that we can watch. Like, it also benefits the indies too. And if you don't think that Vince knows that, like, you have these guys who have now wrestled on the big stage, for lack of a better term. So they're going to go to the independents and they're going to work with these younger guys. They're going to be able to give some knowledge to these younger guys. And you're going to think that some of these guys don't have contacts still up, that they're not going to call and be like, hey, there's this dude, you know, like Tony Khan might want to look at him, or, you know, you guys might want to pull this dude up to NXT. Like, I think it's instead of it's taking down the fence, I think, and or at least a part of the fence, and letting some of the cattle out and letting the cattle go and see how people are performing. And I think you're going to see more independent promotions come up. I think you're going to see more cross promotion. I think you're going to see a little bit, even though we've had in the last decade a resurgence of independence, I think you're going to see an even more resurgence of it. And you're going to see bigger venues. You're going to see more people because of they're not happy with the WWE product, or AEW might be, say, too adult for them or whatever. You're going to see people want to take their kids, take their families to these more local shows. And I think that's a great thing. I think it's a great thing putting these people out there. I think it's going to help bring New Japan to the side of the world more so than like what you did. I think you are going to have, when everything is said and done, a better wrestling landscape for all of us. Right. And I think these guys' experience at WWE, their experiences at AEW that they bring back to these smaller promotions are going to benefit everybody. And who says that another wrestler might not start another smaller promotion or more? Like, you see wrestling schools pop up all the time now. Right. And that's what you need. Like, you need people to learn how to do that physical part of the business properly. You need people to learn how to do the business part of the business properly, because the more people that are knowledgeable in this business, the better for all of us. I truly believe that. Right. And you have so much talent out there in the world. And it's just like with singers and actors. Like, you just need your shot. You need your big break. Because like, you got dudes like Rick Recon, who I absolutely love. Like, I firmly believe that he's going to be on one of the big stages one of these days.
He's a double champ right now.
Absolutely. I think he is going to be a face of a company somewhere, you know? And, like, that's just something I believe. He just needs that. He needs the stars to align and get the right opportunity knock on his door, and he can do it. Like, Nick Sullivan, same thing. Like, these guys are guys who I can see on my big cup that I get from a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Right. Like, they have the talent. They have those personalities. And to me, it's a beautiful thing to be able to see just this huge landscape of independent wrestlers. And one of these guys could easily be the next KO. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
like 6 months before he went to NXT, he was at Kennedy Arena in Rome wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, it.
I talked to him at his last show.
Right. Like, so like it's not.
He told me he was going to NXT. It was crazy.
And like it's the opportunities there, and as much as it's in disarray right now, I'm very, very hopeful for what the future holds in this business. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I have a very, very positive outlook when it comes to it.
I think WWE is still going to have to change a lot of what and how they do things, though, in order to contend, because I feel like AEW is bringing back that like post Attitude Era feeling of wrestling. You know what I mean? Not quite ruthless aggression era, but like, you know, before WWE was, you know, started to essentially like turn the product on itself. So B-Rad, Glare Up, sounds excited to see you here with the Big Joe. I don't know why he's excited to see you, but then we also have John Caprero. He asked us who was your favorite wrestler. I used to walk wrestlers up the aisle at the Odd. That is a wicked job, John. That's super cool.
Did you hold their hands?
If you ever want to like talk about what you did, come on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any and everyone is allowed to come on whenever they want.
Yeah.
Just hit us up. Hit us up on.
We're going to be implementing some new rules, so you don't have to worry about being assaulted by Garrett or myself with kendo sticks or anything like that.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay. That's fair. John, I'm going to assume that you're talking about like, you know, Attitude Era times, like the 90s and stuff like that. I was most excited to see even the early iteration of like DX, you know, around then. It was, you know, Austin, or when Austin would come out, and the time when Austin would come out and face DX. You know what I mean? Like that, right around that time.
Stone Cold will always have a very special place, as does DX for me.
Yeah.
It's
because around that time it was just like the Michaels Triple H China version of it, and and when I think the last time I saw them all go at it was like, I think Austin stunned Michael so hard his pants came down at the Odd. Like, it was hilarious. You know, he's just laying face down, butt cheeks hanging out. Like, it was funny.
Yeah, super
funny. So around that time, it was DX, it was Austin. That was. Unless you talk about even further back. But if you're still on, let us know. Yeah. And again, if you want to come talk about it, we're here. So it's about that time. I think it's time for... we're top 5 now.
Top 5.
Now, I've decided to do something slightly different. We've done it before in the past, but, you know, Joe, in celebration of me utterly destroying your D squad without having to actually do anything, right. I decided that we should do the fantasy stable thing again. Stu and I did it way back in the day, and I think we did it on a WWE one. But I want to do a series of them since there's so much that we could do now. So this week we're going to take a stab at AEW, and then we'll do Impact on the next show, and then we'll hit like Raw and NXT and SmackDown and all the. We're gonna do a big long series, and at the very end we'll do like an ultimate. Like, you can take anyone from anywhere, and so setting up all the next top 5s for the next couple months really. But yeah, so.
Go ahead, go first, because then I'll read you then I'll just read the whole entire thing that I sent you the other day.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because we decided on the and there is a lot of wrestlers. I actually ended up coming up with 2 as well as you did. So my first one is actually Miro would start it.
All right.
And would, I don't want to say end up taking the back seat, but the mouthpiece would become or Bryan Danielson.
Okay.
It would also be Wardlow, Pac, and Tony Nese as the Chosen.
I like that.
So they're there. They're chosen to save AEW and all of wrestling from that. Go ahead with your first one.
All right, my first one would be the Young Bucks, MJF, Bryan Danielson, and you repackage and unmask Luchasaurus.
Okay.
You kind of make him more of like that whole heel looking thing. And you call them TDR, the real deal.
Okay.
Because they're the real deal in AEW.
All right. Yeah, that's good. I like that. That would be. That'd be a lot of trash talk going.
Oh, yes.
They'd be good at all that. So my second one, it would be Christian Cage,
Okay.
Jay Lethal,
Okay.
Frankie Kazarian,
Wow.
Jungle Boy, and Dante Martin as the Experience.
I like that.
You know, like, and it has like double meaning because you have, Christian Cage who's been in there forever. It's the same thing with, Frankie Kazarian, Jay Lethal as long as he's been around, and then like Jungle Boy and Dante Martin as these newer, younger wrestlers who have literally taken AEW by storm. I mean, Jungle Boy is called one of the pillars of AEW, and I mean, Dante Martin, like all he needed was one match. He needed one match, and he took it, and he shot for the stars, and now he's on every show. He just keeps going. So yeah.
Then my second would be Moxley, Hangman Page, Adam Cole, Darby Allin, and a darker, maybe even renamed version of Jungle Boy. And as an FU to WWE, they would call themselves the Sword.
The Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. I can see that. Yeah, I mean, eventually Jungle Boy is going to have to lose the Jungle Boy thing. You know what I mean? He'll just go by Jack Perry. Yeah. I would assume.
And then I ended up, because I was on such a roll, I came up with 2 tag teams to clash with each other. We had Kenny Omega and CM Punk forming a tag team called The Definition.
Right.
Because they're the definition of greatness.
Right.
And then Jericho comes back, and he challenges them for the belts, and he won't reveal his partner. And he's getting his ass kicked in the match, and all of a sudden, Dusty Rhodes music hits. And you have Cody, turning face, comes out, and he becomes the American Dream 2.0. And then the two of them together, I don't know, Y2 America, or they do something along those lines.
Right.
And they both go face, and
right.
They become the top face tag team in the company.
That would work. That'd be a good thing to do also for like his last in-ring run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's in his 50s.
Yeah.
And, again, he's really good at repackaging himself. But,
you just made the list!
But it's, I think that's why on Rampage he's been doing commentary a lot.
Right.
He's kind of trying to ease it in, but he's great at commentary, of course.
Oh my God, he's arguably one of the top 3 best speakers in wrestling history.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, he's just that's it. He's great. Yeah. So, but all right. So we know what all our next top 5s are for the next few months. You can join us next week. On Movie Madness, we're going to be doing DC movies, all the live-action DC stuff. So all the different types of Batman movies and the Snyderverse stuff.
And is it Casey doing it with us next week?
Yeah, Casey will be back. I hope. I hope I didn't scare him off with the ass whooping I delivered to you. But I mean, it's not like he was targeted. So I mean, he should be fine. No, I'm not going to go after the intern. He's fine. He's great. He's great. Why would I do anything to him? But yeah. So join us then, and join us back here in 2 weeks for more Wrestle Fandom Radio, for more time with the champ. It's going to be great. Thank you to our sponsors. You guys make the show happen. We couldn't do it without you. All right? If you'd like to become a sponsor, hit us up. All right? We'd appreciate it. Joe, I'd say I hope you feel better, but I really don't care.
I'm gonna rebuild myself and.
Oh, you do that. You do that, and we will catch everybody later. All right.